this on the surface, I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa.
Shout out to Neoliberal Tears for this.
Shout out to Twitter/X user Neoliberal Tears for resurfacing this clip.
Neoliberal Tears commented at the top of the show, "What happened to my music?" One of my favorite commenters.
Yeah, big
Someone
fan.
that's so much affection for me.
He's a bit of mine. Prepare for a holiday season of Neoliberal Tears.
Hello and welcome to Nightcap with Neoliberal Tears. I'm here, Neoliberal Tears. Thank you for joining me. I see the right and left trousers is in the chat. Hey, RNLT. How was your Monday? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments that always make me laugh. Oh my God, I need to screenshot the last one you left on yesterday's video. I really want to... when you were talking about lesser evilism being a permission structure for Crystal Cowl and cringe, and the Democratic Party giving us less and less to celebrate, shall we say. Ryan, how are you doing tonight? What's going on with you?
It's just false,
But
false,
no,
false,
it's not false.
You know, Ryan, I'm starting to get the sense that you're repeating a lot of the same stuff over and over.
It's just false,
But
false,
no,
false,
it's not false.
You know what? Sometimes it's harder to argue with you than it is to just let you be. So I'm going to let you be. I'm going to let you be. I'm sorry that I forgot to do yesterday a nervous system regulation segment. We are going to do one tonight. I promise. I promise I'm not going to leave you hanging. I have quite a funny clip. This time it's not. It has nothing to do with animals, cute animals. It's funny. I won't spoil it. You have to make it to the end. So I thought we should start with the futuristic version of Kyle Kulinski, whatever happened to him, where a lot of people theorize that the bleach has seeped into the skull and corrupted his brain to turn him into a DNC zombie. I don't know that that's what happened. I don't know that it isn't what happened. I'm not sure. But I wanted to play, I guess, this clip that is from a few days ago, where Kyle talked about himself being a law and order leftist. Let's take a listen.
And so we can't let them get away with it because this is not a matter of disagreement. This is not a matter of opinion. Okay. This is a matter of right and wrong. And so here's Ro Khanna saying in no uncertain terms, lock him up. Lock him up. There's something that, I said a while back, but I'm going to start reiterating it a lot more these days. Whenever people accuse leftists of wanting to abolish prisons, our response has to be, we're not going to fucking abolish prisons. That's where we're sending Donald Trump. That's where we're sending Elon Musk. That's where we're sending Stephen Miller. Okay. I am a law and order leftist. I'm going to lock up all the war criminals. I'm going to lock up all the Wall Street criminals who are committing crimes over and over. I'm going to lock up all the ICE Gestapo thug criminals. I'm going to lock up all these white collar criminals who are robbing people blind with various fraud schemes. And then Trump is pardoning them and pardoning them again. They're all getting locked up. Every last one of them. Okay. And that's what the message needs to be. And so we can't let them get away with it because this is not a matter of
We're the left. We're not going to abolish prisons. We're just going to pretend to lock up Trump. And white-collar criminals. Ro Khanna is a white-collar criminal, you idiot. Do you know how much stocks he has invested in fucking defense companies, Kyle? Even though you're friends with him, Ro Khanna would be one of the first in line if we're talking about gulags. Forget that he's a proud Zionist. God damn it, he's so fucking reactionary and stupid. Literally, all it takes is one Fox News segment for Kyle Kulinski to just throw all of his values out the fucking window to the extent that he ever had any. Friend of the show, Kyle Kulinski, everybody. Law and order leftist. No, we're not going to reduce the prison budget, the prison industrial complex that's incarcerating immigrants, making hundreds of millions of dollars by filling up beds, forcing immigrants, using immigrant bodies, black and brown bodies, minorities, people of lower socioeconomic status, basically everybody who's not a 1%er. Their plan is to lock all of us up. And Kyle Kulinski's brilliant framing is, no, we're not going to defund prisons. We're just going to pretend to throw lip service at putting like white-collar criminals in there. For fuck's sake, he's so stupid. Welcome, Fascism Watch. Here's something for you to watch out for. Look at Kyle Kulinski just immediately getting on board with the prison industrial complex as long as his wish list of enemies makes it in there. God, he's so stupid. So easy to manipulate. From the right and left trousers, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris too? I know. Where were their names? Talking about war criminals. How about we start, we can do Trump, but how about we start with Joe fucking Biden, who you voted for? Biden, bro. You didn't mention her, you didn't mention his name, you didn't mention Kamala's name. They did start a genocide that you pretend to care about for views, for AdSense YouTube money. What about them? Or is the DNC talking point list, do they tell you explicitly that you can't mention any fucking Democrats? Always has to be Republicans? Trust me, if you're talking about white-collar criminals, there's a long list of Democrats. All of them, especially your friend Ro fucking Khanna. Idiot, you're such a fucking idiot. I'm gonna cry. No, I won't. I'm stronger. I'm stronger than this. Wish me luck. From Fascism Watch, must expend to demon rats. That's Kyle Dark Angle. Yes, fake leftist criminals should be first. I don't know if we have to prioritize. I think there's so much corruption on the Democratic and Republican sides. We can walk and chew gum. But I really think this falling into this framing that actually, no, we shouldn't defund the police. We shouldn't defund the giant prison industrial complex, all because you can sort of, I don't know, get a rise or make yourself hard by thinking about Trump going to prison. It's the most liberal brain shit I've ever heard. Instead of looking at the bigger picture of the prison industrial complex incarcerating people of lower economic status, people of any racial background that isn't bleach white like Kyle's hair. Instead of looking at the bigger picture of how prisons are torturing people to make money and profit off of them, Kyle is so stuck in being a terminal liberal that he can't see the bigger picture. He just ejaculates in his pants when he thinks of Trump going to prison and Stephen Miller, and which won't happen under Democrats. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is like out there meeting Jared Kushner. You think Democrats, your Democratic Party, you think they're gonna put those people in prison? Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? They're gonna put Kyle Kulinski in prison before they put Donald Trump in prison. He's so stupid. How did she marry someone so stupid? I don't understand. And I'm very gay. I can't emphasize this enough. I couldn't be less interested in Crystal Ball. I'm just saying he's so stupid. But he's funny. So let's be fair. From the Ryan Left Trousers, all golf. No balls. He definitely golfs. He has to. I mean, you know, maybe he golfs together with Ro Khanna. They talk about the future. They talk about stocks. They talk about how to inside trade. I don't know, allegedly. From Fascism Watch, I need a drink. Yeah, you do. Trust me. We have a long night. We have a lot to get through, and it's going to be so much fun. But, you know, so you remember the debate, right? The big debate between Crystal Cow and poor Briahna Joy Gray, who had to take that on, who had to take the man baby that is Kyle Kulinski, law and order leftist. Kyle, for fuck's sake, never call yourself a leftist. Just don't do it. You're a liberal. You're a stupid liberal. All liberals are stupid, but you're especially stupid. Let's play this along.
But my biggest issue economically with the Biden administration is the way they've allowed the pandemic relief, the short-term pandemic relief programs to fall away and leave a lot of ordinary Americans in a more precarious financial position now than they were at the beginning of the administration. And that's not nothing. But when I look at the long term, when I look at the fact that, listen, with the Inflation Reduction Act, with the CHIPS Act, with infrastructure investment, you're talking about industrial policy in a way that would have been completely unheard of in the Clinton-Obama era. When you look at not just the NLRB, which I said is like the core for me, but also his antitrust appointments and the fact they're really trying to reverse decades of neoliberal attack on any sort of trust bust.
I'm sorry, did Biden break up Amazon and I missed it? Did he break up Google? Did he break up Facebook? What is she talking about? Matt Stoller getting to be in some fucking meetings isn't revamping antitrust. Can you imagine talking to a regular working class person and saying this shit? Oh, but did you hear about Lena Khan? Well, did she do anything? No. I think the only thing that the antitrust division of the Biden Department of Justice, the only thing they did is to rescind the non-compete agreement. So basically, if you happen to work at McDonald's or something, and then you quit, you would have had to wait 5 years before you could technically work at Wendy's or a competitor to McDonald's. So they basically rescinded that. So now those non-competes don't apply. So congratulations. Now you can work at McDonald's and pick up a shift at Wendy's. That's the great innovation of the Biden administration. Are they serious? What the fuck? How rich are you exactly to think that this is a pitch to talk to people? I'm talking regular people, not even people of lower socioeconomic means, people on Medicare, people on food stamps. I'm talking regular people making median wage. Do you think this is what is this? How rich are they that they think this is really how locked is their bubble? Impenetrable bubble. I actually can't believe it. From Fascism Watch, she is so angry. I'm angry. I'm angry on her behalf. I would be so angry if I had to argue against two liberals at the same time, and one of them is Kyle Kulinski. I completely agree with you guys that said, I think it was The Traveler, who said Shama Sawant should be there too. Just maybe even just for moral support, because this is too much. I'm sorry, I'm going to get better at not pausing it every 10 seconds. I'm floored. From the right and left trousers, RNLT. I love that. By the way, have I said that I'm glad all of my besties are here tonight? Thank you, guys. Good to see you. I need your moral support to get through this. From the right and left trousers, there's a couple of moments in this debate that feel like we're watching Karen, Ken, and Karen, Ken, and friends. No, that's exactly what it is. That's what I'm saying. No, that literally is Ken. That's Ken. Except Ken in the movie was way hotter than Kyle is. No offense, Kyle. Maybe pick up a dumbbell. Just a suggestion. After you sign up for improv classes. From Fascism Watch, haha, all you can eat. From the Ryan Left Trousers, Kyle's been drinking too many Frosties. Mom needs to cut him off. Okay, you've had enough, Kyle. You had enough Frosties. He did have a lot of like sugar energy in this entire circus. Let's do it. Let's play it.
I feel like none of those improvements that have made Biden on that front way better than Obama, way better than Clinton. I just feel like there's no willingness to acknowledge any of that whatsoever.
I don't think the issue is acknowledging it.
Why don't you shut up and take the win? Why aren't you acknowledging how amazing Bidenomics has been? Don't you see inflation is up? Don't you see housing costs are more expensive than ever? Why don't you acknowledge Lena Khan being at the antitrust division doing fucking nothing? I can't believe it. I can't believe that these people are paid for a living to sort of talk to voters, regular people, and sort of reflect how they're feeling and analyze the news, analyze the situation from a human perspective. How out of touch are you? That's crazy to me. And I think even before the genocide, I knew that Democrats were going to lose. It was obvious to anybody with eyes, and then they did the genocide, and it was really fucking obvious. But just to go back, and I'm gonna find that comment from the Ryan Left Trousers, because I thought it was so that they left on yesterday's stream, because this entire like licking of Biden's asshole and Democrats' asshole and pretend like they actually delivered for people has created, in my opinion, a permission structure for Democrats to say, maybe we can get away with starting a genocide. It would make defense companies happy. It would make Palantir happy. It would make our donors happy. I mean, sure, the left is going to be upset. The left is always upset. But look, they're celebrating us as a huge as a fucking FDR. And at the end of the day, what are they going to do? They have nowhere to go. They're going to vote for us anyway. We can get away with it.
It's how much it matters to you, how weighty that is to you, and how much you see those kind of find common meaningful improvements as really core to the nature of the project that you're on. And I think that what some people are frustrated by is that this went from feeling like, in both left media and left politics, a bigger revolutionary project that was going to the core of our capitalist system and wanting to radically change the way that human lives are valued, what we consider to be the nature of our social safety net, what we believe to be the nature of what we consider to be human rights. And they wanted to join a movement that validated what many of us felt intrinsically, emotionally for most of our lives, that something in the milk very much wasn't clean. And Bernie came along and articulated that it was legitimate for us to be asking for something more.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point, it does feel as though there has been a kind of a bait and switch. It's not that what you're describing isn't true or legitimate. And I said this on my podcast. If your priorities are what you have kind of articulated your priorities as being, I think it's a perfectly legitimate argument. But I have to hold space for the fact that for many people, it simply is inadequate.
Wait, can I respond?
Yeah,
let me jump in here. So my issue is that many people on the
Kyle, hold on. And Crystal was acutely aware during the Rising days that Biden's betrayal on the $15 wage, on healthcare as a whole, were significant issues for voters. It was significant for her at the time to voice it. So why the switch into DNC comms mode and dressing up the NLRB as a legislative win. When did that happen and why? Did Crystal 2.0 put Crystal 1.0 in the basement and lock her up? Is Crystal 1.0 trying to break free? Is she held hostage by this Crystal? I don't know. I'm just asking questions because this is not the same person.
Left are, I would say, dishonestly refusing to acknowledge any good things that were done. We could all on the left list, like, here's a 50.
So now if you're a voter who voted for Biden because you thought he would deliver on a $15 wage and a public option, Kyle is calling you ungrateful. Ungrateful.
Things we hate that Biden did, but when something good happens, I'm the only one talking about it, and then I get accused of being a DNC shill. Now, I'm not like, look, I'm not blind. I think in order to be intellectually honest, you have to look at, here's the good things that happen, here's the bad thing that happened.
So now he's calling anybody who doesn't think a fucking CHIPS Act, which has something to do with chips in Taiwan, I don't give a fuck. But he's saying anybody who's not jacking off to that is being dishonest, isn't grateful, isn't acknowledging the wins, when we're talking about a president who literally killed the $15 minimum wage. Actually, Pramila Jayapal did that. A president who didn't even pretend to try to fight for a public healthcare option that he ran on. You're being dishonest? And like the gaslighting is crazy. I know that word is getting overused and stuff, but like I think it really shows you that Kyle does not know anybody making under $200,000 a year, because the idea that he would call someone ungrateful for not seeing how amazing Biden is when inflation is high, housing costs are high, healthcare costs have never been higher. What is he talking about?
I'm gonna give them all to you, and then you could judge how much you value each and which one you weigh more and how that factors into your like voting analysis. But I was like the poster boy back in the day, or people viewed me this way, as like, he's the purity tester. He's like the main purity tester guy. And I did.
Nobody fucking viewed you as anything. He's such a fucking narcissist. He really just wants to be in the conversation, a player in the game. He really thinks people think about him as much as he thinks about himself. It's impressive. I wish I had the confidence of a straight white man baby like Kyle Kulinski. I wish. From Fascism Watch here, he uses Trump accordion hand. Listen. Blah, blah, blah. It's his talking points hands. God, he's so fucking stupid. Sorry. Actually, no, I'm not fucking sorry. From the Traveler here, who is writing Kulinski's checks now is my question. I don't know. Could be Ryan Graham.
False. This is false, but false, false, it's not false.
Someone protested a little too much. Look, if we're talking allegedly here, allegedly speaking, the way you would do this, allegedly, if you were gonna solicit donations from allegedly people like Reid Hoffman or other billionaires who have money to throw around, terminal Democrats, billionaires, losers, assholes, rich assholes, and you wanted to milk them out of money, because why not? You're open for business, and you have to offer them something that you're selling, right? So what are Crystal and Kyle selling, allegedly? They're saying we're going to be front people or media personalities with large audiences, and we're going to toe a party line without making it seem like we're towing a party line, allegedly. So you're selling the idea of giving viewers something that appears and feels independent and authentic. But actually, you're doing what the DNC has paid people for decades to do, which is spew bullshit talking points, except Crystal and Cal's innovation is to make it appear accessible, human, just off the cuff. Who's that idiot? Brian Tyler Cohen. Have you been cursed with seeing one of his videos? It's clear that the DNC is paying for this, but he wants to pretend to have the facade of someone who's neutral, independent, just calling it as it is, except his entire lack of personality kind of betrays the fact that he has no principles. I think that's what they're selling. So maybe a billionaire would be like, oh, I guess I can write a check to, what is it? Karen Ken & Friends LLC. And just to say, here's a $10,000 check just because I like your podcast. From me, Reid Hoffman, billionaire, allegedly. I think that's how it would happen. It wouldn't be anything written, like in terms of, yes, we will copy-paste talking points and read them like robots. There's more sophistication that goes into it. Not a lot more, to be clear, because it's pretty fucking obvious. They're just DNC bread tubers. I don't know, allegedly. I'll keep saying it, allegedly. I'll allegedly keep saying it. I think that's how it would shake down.
Vote for Biden in 2020 because I didn't think he would pass my purity test. Now, at the time, people could go back and watch the video. My purity test was super fucking lenient. It was like, if I'm convinced you're going to do like 2 or 3 of the things that I value highly, then I would vote for you. Because I know it's basically down to just the Democrat and the Republican, no matter how much we want to wish the Green Party or Libertarians want to wish the Libertarian.
I know it's just down to the Republican and the Democrat, so I'm going to pick the Democrat. I'm going to pick the Democrat. You see how someone like Ronald Klain would have the confidence to say to an outlet on record that, yeah, pro-Palestine voters, they're going to vote for Biden. They're not going to vote for Trump. People like Hal Kalinske are going to tell them, people like the Majority Report are going to tell Palestinian Americans that, hey, you have to vote for Holocaust Harry. She's better than the alternative. She's better than the alternative. They're doing our work for us. We don't need to deliver to voters because we have these idiots that are literally doing our sales job for us. We can be as bad as we fucking want to be. We can literally commit a genocide in the United States. And these idiots are still going to say, well, Democrats are better than Trump. You have to vote for Democrats. They're better than Trump. This is evil. This is fucking evil. You're evil, Kyle Kalinske. And so are you, Crystal. I know. I'm sorry. I know you used to be besties of the show. Not anymore. Evil motherfuckers. I want to read this comment from the Right and Left Trousers, VIP of the show, about last night's stream. Look how quickly I put it up. I am such a cool YouTuber now. Look at that. So quick. Quick on my feet. Furthermore, when Democrats get shittier as they realize they don't need to worry about retaining voters afraid of Republicans, at least according to the vote blue no matter who logic, they force Republicans to move right. It's kind of similar to how vowel shifts work. When one vowel's noise slightly changes in a dialect's pronunciation, the other vowels shift naturally in order to remain distinct from one another for the purposes of clear communication. When Democrats move right, ostensibly to gain moderate voters, Republicans are forced to move further right in order to maintain a distinct platform, and that opens up space for more noxious views to become publicly expressible. So when an idiot like Kyle Kalinske says, no, we want to fund the police, we want to fund the police harder, we want to fund the police harder, Republicans are hearing that and saying, fuck it, we should move further to the right. We don't want to we don't want to have the same platform as Democrats. People like Kyle and Crystal are the reason, part of the reason, we have seen such a major shift to the right. Why we're seeing AOC say, like, woke one was crazy after using the worst version. She was the originator of using the worst versions of identity politics to begin with. Not that that's woke in any way. Part of why we're seeing such a major shift to the right is because Democrats are betraying their own base when it comes to immigration. They don't even talk or pretend to talk about a path to citizenship for DACA and Dreamers. They used to. They don't even pretend to, because they accept Trump's premise that immigrants are bad, that they should all be put in prisons that make money for prison profiteers. And then Republicans shift further to the right. I thought it was a great point. Let me go up. Thank you guys for commenting and giving me a pause from listening to this. From the Traveler here. Those takes don't happen. Crystal and Karen and Ken's takes, unless someone is writing their checks, allegedly. I think you're allegedly right. Allegedly. Ryan, I heard that allegedly you're also making quite a bit of money off of this DNC.
False. This is false, false, false.
No, it's not false.
Yeah, I said allegedly. So you really don't need to get angry at me. Please, keep that anger to yourself. From Fascism Watch, very true. Nobody would say or do that without money. And you know, for a while I used to think that Crystal was just misled. I know, I'm hopeless. But like, I think it was out of admiration and appreciation for her work that I actually believed that she was misled to think that Democrats are the only viable path for any leftist or any socialist leaning, whatever you want to call it, for any person who wants to make positive change. That was their avenue, and she was just convinced herself in a way that that would be the path. And I'm sort of starting to see that that's not exactly what happened here. From the Traveler, for me, Sam Cedar lost all his credibility after forced to vote. 1000%. Totally agree with you. We should check out that Bad Faith episode. That would be fun. And when he debated Hinkle before his Nazbol era, oh my God. Hinkle was calling out the squad enabling fascism, and Cedar just responded with, I don't care. Oh my God, I remember that. Because to Sam Cedar, the only thing that matters is who's in his contact list. Can he speed dial AOC? Can he speed dial Ilhan Omar? Can they come on the show? It's the only thing that matters. As far as policies, I think Emma's interview with AOC was so embarrassing. AOC voted to fund the police. She was one of the deciding votes. She voted present on a bill when Biden was still president, when Democrats had the House and the Senate. AOC is one of the people who let a major funding to police and to ICE, which totally goes against AOC's pretend branding of abolishing ICE. Look at me, I'm wearing a hat that says abolish ICE. She voted to fund ICE, and Emma Vigeland couldn't find the question in her body. Couldn't find any question other than, you're amazing, Madam President. Can I lick your pussy? Can I please lick your pussy, Madam President? Can I please? Can I pretty please? These people are so embarrassing. Like, I would go to my grave embarrassed if I were either Emma or Sam. Truly pathetic individuals. From the Traveler here, but Emma Vigeland said Hillary 2.0 was winning Iowa by 3 points. Oh my God, did she really? Wow. Another one who's super in touch with with voter sentiment. She's really in there. She's really like, really in touch. From Fascism Watch, very interesting. More talking than the classic Overton window. I agree with you. Cedar is definitely a dead brain. I mean, I've never liked Sam Cedar, to be honest. I never understood why anybody, before Forced to Vote, never understood why anybody listened to him. Like, it's so great. I mean, I like Bob's Burgers, but that's not really his show. He's just doing the voice for it. So I find him so insufferable. Whenever he opens his mouth and just stream of consciousness, I find them so uninteresting, like painfully uninteresting, painfully boring. Never said anything. I actually like just complete. I find him and Buttigieg to have an equal measure of charisma or anti-charisma. Sorry, Kime, the Misanthropy Report. You're 100% right. The Misanthropy Report with Enema Vigilant. Kime, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I agree. The Misanthropy Report. And this is welcome to the Demoralized Majority Report with neoliberal tears. From the Traveler, her Pelosi, Pelosi, AOC Pelosi, her first vote was to fund ICE. And if 2018 AOC was still in there, she would have called current AOC out for her present votes. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe AOC 2.0 locked AOC 1.0 in the same basement that Crystal 1.0 is trapped in. Now I'm worried. Listen, Crystal 1.0, AOC 1.0, if you hear this somehow, some way, if you manage to get Wi-Fi reception in your basement where you're locked, where you have been trapped by your doppelgangers, your liberal doppelgangers, we want to help. Please let us know how we can help. Leave a message in the chat. We want to rescue you. All for one and one for all. No one is left behind. From the Rattle of Trousers. A few years ago, Sam was mystified that someone could accuse the State Department of meddling in foreign countries. What? How ahistorical do you have to be? How stupid. My God. Forget how boring he is. He's also stupid. That's a deadly combination. Being boring and stupid. Kyle is stupid, but he's not that boring. You know what I mean? From the Rhine Left Trousers, LOL, that enema vigilant isn't working. The gut just won't flush. Enema. She does look a little... No, you know what? I'm not gonna...
Party into existence. And so when I look at the record, again, I could list all the bad things, but she just mentioned the NLRB raising overtime pay, or you mentioned the thing where, you know, they automatically recognize the union if the bosses try to bust it up. There's also the overtime pay rule where now it's not $33,000, it's about $55,000 a year, where now you get...
I can't emphasize this enough. I said this in the last stream, but I really don't want anyone who checks these streams out to be misinformed. That ruling by the NLRB was fucking unenforceable. It was meaningless. And he's parading it around like it was a massive legislative win for Biden, who wouldn't even put the PRO Act on the floor. Fuck you, Kyle.
Overtime pay. That's a huge, huge change. Student loan debt reduction, and even Biden coming back after the Supreme Court tried to slap it down, and he said, no, I'm going to try to do it through the Higher Education Act now. There's little things we could go after. Oh, the interest rate. Yes, that's bad. I agree with you on that. But we got to recognize that that is, all things considered, a step in the right direction.
Inflation, housing costs, healthcare costs. I think you would only not see these things as issues if you're not worried or have to worry about the major expenses of healthcare, health insurance and rent. That's clear. That's the only thing Kyle is really communicating here, that he's not worried about paying rent or paying for a healthcare or paying for health insurance. Kyle, the pretend Medicare for all activist. That's how quickly it took him to drop it. So of course Democrats listen to an idiot like this and they're like, why should we fight for a public option? These idiots celebrate us no matter fucking what. Why should we do anything about healthcare? All we need to do is pass more COBRA subsidies for the greedy profiteers who are paying us. And people like Ken over here are just going to defend us no matter what. I can't emphasize enough. I say this too many times. I'm sorry. I really think it's important how complicit media personalities have been in lying to their viewers or try to lie to their. I don't think viewers bought this bullshit, but in lying to their viewers and enabling the Democratic Party to deliver less and less and less to its own base. They're responsible because in a real democracy that we don't have at the moment, administration officials listen to whatever Ken and Karen are saying to sort of understand what's the discourse, what's happened, what's going on, how are our policies being received, what's the feedback. The media is sort of where, politicians are addicted to watching. We knew this from Trump, right? Watching Fox News on every television screen, having television screens and installed in the fucking White House. It's true for all. It's not just true of Trump. Trust me, it's true of all politicians. They're obsessed with watching cable news. They're obsessed with even watching bullshit independent shows like this one, because that's where they get feedback in terms of how their policies are being received. And every media personality who pretended Democrats were actually delivering for their base was complicit in making sure Democrats never delivered the things that they actually promised. Let me go up and read your comments. Have you seen all the posts on Twitter from Kime here? Have you seen all the posts on Twitter with Kuklinski saying that? No, I haven't. Oh my gosh. Ugh. God, he's so white. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm not surprised. Maybe that's why he's not that pressed about Democrats never passing the George Floyd and Policing Act. Although I think the traveler here mentioned that bill actually had a ton of police funding buried into it. So correct me if I'm wrong, the traveler. From Kime here, they were from like 2012, but he hasn't deleted them. Oh my God. Has he ever apologized, at least? From the Ryan Left Trousers. Why does Crystal, Kyle, and Ken, Karen, and friends set look like a goddamn Taco Bell? Oh my God, you're right. It does look like the new Taco Bell. You're so right. Maybe they're filming it at Taco Bell. Can you imagine? Maybe it's like a combined sponsorship thing, a collaboration. We're gonna do it at Taco Bell, guys. Don't forget to get a 5-layer burrito after you watch our show. That would be so funny. I wonder if it's a real wall, or if it's just like wallpaper that looks like gray bricks. I think it's probably just that. Maybe it's just a room in their house. I don't know, but you're right. It does look like the Taco Bell. Even the purple shades over here by the laptop. Do you see it? Oh my God, they're filming a Taco Bell. Honestly, that would make me like them a little bit more. Like if they're taco heads. Taco Bell. I haven't been to Taco Bell in a little bit, but I'm a fan. I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. That's why. From the Traveler here. Wait, with all these declassified docs at the CIA explicitly saying they coup foreign governments to secure U.S. interests, Sam is still pretending they don't do that? His tiny little brain cannot handle that much information all at once, so you have to give it to him in small bits and pieces. Maybe that's what I don't even think Emma is that stupid to think that like the State Department doesn't get what the fuck. I mean, look at Marco Rubio. He's gone full mask off when it comes to starting coups in Cuba, Venezuela, all of them. God, it's such a joke. I mean, Hillary at the State Department was pushing. She was at the Secretary of State, and she was pushing for coupping Libya hardcore, along with Max Blumenthal's dad, but that's another story. You should read those emails. Crazy. From the Traveler here, and to counter Cal's point, why would the same man who made it impossible to discharge student debt via bankruptcy be the one to forgive our loans? Thank you. Such a good point. Such a good point. The same person who, as senator, made it impossible to discharge student loans as part of bankruptcy, he would be the one to rescue students from the same bullshit, the same torture of a life that he put those students into on purpose. It's really like, it's either what you guys said about them being like on a script or something and just trying to sell the Democrats, use whatever they can, find whatever obscure, unenforceable NLRB ruling they can use to make the entire Democratic Party look like a brilliant workers' party. It could be that kind of thing. Actually, I don't know what else it could be. I mean, because it's either that they're just selling it without actually believing their bullshit, like Kyle, I mean, and Crystal, Ken and Karen. I love that. They're our NLT. Thank you for that. Ken and Karen. Or they don't even believe their bullshit. You know what I mean? Because Kyle, as I love to remind people, used to be a used car salesman. So imagine him trying to sell a car and being like, this used Kia from 2006 has a great engine. Kia has a great reputation for engines. You gotta buy it. Kia is great. When he says that, he's aware he's lying, right? We all know Kia and their engines are fucked up. So, I think there's a little bit of that going on. I don't think even he is as much of a Biden bro as he's pretending to be in the moment. This is acting, in my opinion. This is him sort of getting into character, going full method and saying, I'm a Biden bro now. I'm going to sell somebody, whatever, allegedly paid me to be an actor. So I'm going to act. I'm going to act like I believe Biden is the most progressive president since FDR. Allegedly. From the right and left trousers, I think Sam Cedar was just so Dem-brained, Democratic-brained, and US-centric that he couldn't process reality. That's true. That is a lot of people's problem. I can see that too. It seems in a post-Al-Aqsa world, he's more willing to talk about those things, but then again, he doesn't seem to show his face on his own show too much nowadays. Maybe they got feedback that people were being revolted by the sight of his face. I don't know. Let's see. From Kime here, I'll message them to you, NLT. What's crazy is Kuklinski still hasn't deleted them. People have called them out several times. I don't know what this thing is about. You know what? I think Kyle thinks of himself because he's a narcissist. He's a self-centered man baby. I think of it, he thinks of himself as a politician, so I'm sure in his own mind he's like, no, I can't apologize, because if I apologize, then people are gonna say they're not happy with the apology and it's never gonna be enough, so I'm just never gonna apologize, never apologize. Like, he's not looking at it from the perspective of a human being. He's a man baby. So I think he thinks, no, if I apologize, the backlash is gonna be worse. This is why AOC never apologizes for anything. She's like, no, they're gonna hate me anyway. They're just gonna use me apologizing as an opportunity to like stick it to me more. That's how you know someone isn't really more than like values or humility or guilt or remorse or any of these things. They're just thinking in terms of like, everything is a power game to them. Everything is a power play. Everything is a, what am I trying to think of? A power struggle. Everything is a power struggle to them. And apologizing is to a narcissist like this man baby is giving your power away, which is exactly the opposite, in my opinion. When you apologize, I think it actually, if you're sincere, it makes people more likely to trust you. From the Traveler here, and Hillary, the one who bragged about having slaves in the governor's mansion, pushing hard for regime change in Libya. Oh, yes. With Max Blumenthal's dad, don't forget. And the outcome, turning Libya into an open-air slave market, doesn't surprise me. And, you know, we have to also, I guess, give credit to Obama there, right? But definitely, for sure, Hillary was very excited. Her tent was all, she was very hard for taking over Libya. From RNLT, I almost went with Karen Ken and our black friend Kime. The way they treat Brie here when they think she's, quote, stepping out of line. They were very rude. Actually, Kyle was very rude. I don't think Crystal was rude. But you know, I'm biased against Kyle. So from RNLT, this vid is what made me move on from both Crystal and Kyle. I agree. Same here, actually. I think this was my last straw. Last liberal straw. Actually, maybe Marianne was my last liberal straw with them. Friend of the show. From Kime here. I love how Bree threw shade at Kuklinski the day after What's His Nuts from Maine, Graham, something got exposed. You know how they say that Palestine exposes everybody? It's true. I also think Graham fucking Plattner exposed all of them. He was really like almost like a useful vehicle for exposing exactly who's just a DNC bread tuber, obsessed with helping Democrats take the Senate. It was a very clear dividing line between who's really just like terminal-brained white Democrats and who's actually a leftist who has issues with a Blackwater mercenary, an admitted serial killer, being senator, just so Democrats can pick up a fucking Senate seat. I think Palestine and Graham Plattner have given us a lot of clarity. So thank you to both. Thank you. Thank you for being so useful. All right, guys. From the Traveler here, Graham Cracker gave me weird vibes when I first saw him. Me too. I never liked them. I mean, I really never understood the appeal. Not for one fucking second. But maybe it's because I'm not rich. Or a Democrat. From Fascism Watch, yes, Graham was useful to help marmots go out of their holes. Oh, did I tell you guys I saw a second groundhog under my shed? I only thought there was one, and I've been feeding her for 2 years now. And then I saw a second head. I don't know if it was just like a sleepover situation, maybe a groundhog from nearby sort of came to sleep over, watch a movie, Netflix and chill, and then leave, or if they're a family, and now we have more. I don't know, but now I doubled the food intake, the apples and bananas, so now they get 2 apples and 2 bananas, one of each for each. I'm very happy about that. I feel like I literally feel like I won the lottery. I'm like, another one, yay. Let's listen to more of that. I'm gonna read all of your comments. Do not worry. I love all of them. Actually, let me read since we're talking about that creep from RNLT. Yeah, he's a creep. I think the Graham Cracker. He's one of those guys that you can just feel suburban whites projecting their fantasies of what they feel a backwoods, manly, old-timey, folksy guy they believe their ancestors might have been. Absolutely grotesque. So well, I think that's so well said. To borrow Bestie Crystal's phrase, I think that's well said. I think that's really well said. And also there's like this weird fetishization of people who have been in the military that like liberals love to do. They did it with Amy McGrath, friend of the Traveler, where they were like, but she's a veteran. She's a veteran. I mean, okay. From RNLT also, sometimes Crystal gets that frustrated look in her eyes. Crystal, if you feel any remorse, any guilt about locking up Crystal 1.0 in the basement, I want you to know that there's a way out of this. I want you to feel like there's an off-ramp. Just let her go. Just open the door to the basement, unlock the door, and free her. Free Crystal 1.0. It's not too late. It's never too late to do the right thing. Free yourself. Free all of us. Free the world. Hashtag free Crystal 1.0.
Pulling out of Afghanistan. He actually had the balls to do it, even when the media was shitting on him relentlessly. And I didn't see anybody on the left coming into his defense at that point.
A lot of people have.
I was like,
he's blaming the left for not sucking off Joe Biden hard enough. I mean, I'm
the only fucking one. It was like me and Bandaid Glacius.
I definitely defended him.
Okay, yeah, well then it's like 3 people. I didn't, and all these. Oh, I'm so anti-war. He pulls out of Afghanistan, and it gets messy because that's what happens when you pull out of wars. And all of a sudden, oh my God, you know, it's the end of the world.
He started a war in Ukraine, you idiot! Like 3 seconds after pulling out of Afghanistan. What are you talking about?
For the left, I saw a lot of consensus. Good on you, because we almost resented and kind of were enjoying the extent to which he was getting, dogpiled by the mainstream media, and we were the only ones defending him. So I would quibble with that a little bit.
I didn't see much defending him. I really didn't.
Kyle, what people are responding to, if I can offer this, is not the idea that you are accurately describing advancements, good things that Joe Biden is doing. I think you can also say Obama did some good things.
No, Biden is way better than Obama. Not even close.
That's not the point I'm making. Okay. It's not that one is better than the other. You could also sit here and say Obama did good things. Now, the way you bristled at me saying that, I could say, why won't you just acknowledge that Obama did good things? The same way that you're saying that leftists won't acknowledge, they bristle when you acknowledge that Biden did good things.
Ooh. That's a good point. That's exactly what he's doing.
And it's because we have different standards and we're making different kinds of comparisons.
But that's not my issue, because they're not even acknowledging the good things, is my point. I have a list of 47 things here, and I've heard nobody talk about any of them.
But let me get to the core of this point. The reason that people are frustrated with that kind of analysis is because it's been used for so long by liberals to justify why people shouldn't be asking for more. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing. But if you bring up something like student...
Oh no, that's exactly what he's fucking doing. That's literally what that's like that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to delegitimize anybody who says Biden betrayed progressives, leftists, when he refused to pass a public option or put a public option on the floor for a vote and letting it play out from there. When he sabotaged the $15 minimum wage on purpose, when he refused to put the PRO Act on the floor, to delegitimize all of these concerns and to distract and twist the conversation away from emphasizing those undisputed facts. He's trying to make the conversation about why leftists aren't grateful enough for Biden's accomplishments. That's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what every liberal is doing, including Ryan fucking
False. It's just false,
But
false,
the-
false,
no, it's not false.
It's not false. From the Ryan Lift Trousers. Like that video when where Crystal is talking to Congressmember Rab, and you can just see the pumpkin spice drain from her face when he doesn't enthusiastically endorse Flatner. No, I had such an issue with her. The fact that that even came out as a question from her, I was so pissed. Like, why wouldn't you campaign with Graham fucking Plattner? You would think Graham Plattner had a gun to all of their heads. And he's told them, you have to like promote me, and literally every minute you're on air, every second, every breath you take, I want you to whisper my name, and I want you to get everybody in my corner. I want you to wrangle them up and tell them they have to declare their allegiance to me, King Plattner. Like, it was crazy. And I'm so happy, honestly, that he like really just like flat out said to her, like, we saw how Fetterman turned out. And white progressives really get like this, all of these projections and fantasies bestowed upon them when they're running for office, like John Fetterman. And they love running on a progressive branding right up until the moment they're elected, and then they pull the switcheroo. So no, I'm not going to fucking campaign for him. Also, forget the fact that he had so many allegations and so many Reddit posts that talk about him being a violent psychopath. I'm glad he didn't like cave to her bullshit. It was really embarrassing for her. From the Traveler here, I was talking to one of my friends about it, and we had a feeling that Graham Plattner would have been Fetterman 2.0 had he won. 100%. Ryan, what do you think? Do you think he would have just been another...
False. It's just false,
But
false,
the-
false,
no, it's
false,
not false.
false.
I don't know why I asked. Ryan disagrees. I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. I mean, it also came out that he, you know, when he invited J Street from like the J Street chapter of Maine to come to his events, his Passover event, and tell them how much he supports the two-state solution, when he literally built a brand or started off his brand as being against genocide, I said the word genocide. Morris Katz told me to use the word genocide, so I used it. Yay. Everybody gave me money. Yay. He had no principles whatsoever. The fact that you would invite J Street, a Zionist lobbying group, to tell them you support a two-state solution, I mean, it shows that he really doesn't even have morals. Because how do you not feel bad about betraying the people who donated to your campaign because they thought you were against Zionism or against genocide? You know what I mean? Like, the fact that he felt so comfortable just throwing their hopes and dreams under the bus so J Street can pat him on the back or whatever. I think it was definitely... I mean, he couldn't have had more red flags if he tried. No doubt, from RNLT. Yeah, I think it's obvious. And, you know, it would have been really kind of fun, I think, to see people like Crystal and Kyle sort of have to respond to the fact that someone like Plattner got in there, got elected, and then turned out to be exactly just like Fetterman without the stroke. I think that would have been interesting to see them try to avoid analyzing their own behaviors, their own bullshit, run away from, you know, their own mistakes. I think that would have been funny to watch, but I'm grateful that we don't have someone who enjoyed killing people in Iraq and Afghanistan as a senator. He can enjoy hell where he belongs and not a fucking Senate seat. From Fascism Watch, without Soldier, the empire would go down. These folks are so complicit. Better work for McDonald's. And, Enema Vigeland tried to pretend like Platner, the poor working class person, just had to go join a mercenary army. He had to join Blackwater to make money, because how would you make money? How would you make money without joining Blackwater for 6 years after doing, what was it, 4 or 5 tours, killing people in Iraq and Afghanistan? The idea, like, I would never, ever, like, I can't even imagine. Like, I mean, of course, working any retail or fast food job is so much more dignified than killing people for profit. But we saw those Reddit posts. He said it was fun for him. It was an exhilarating. It was the most enjoyable experience of his life, is what he said. Enjoyable. Psycho. From the Traveler here, with Cori Bush, she should have done the Cardi B approach. When they go low, take it to hell. When she lost and did a Jasmine Crockett and smear some of them as anti-black and the misogynoir. I just don't think that's who she is. Not just in terms of when they go low, you go lower. I don't think... I mean, I understand that a lot of people had a lot of hopes in Cori Bush. And, the fact that she was an activist in Ferguson. I think her refusal during the Biden years to really, force the Biden administration to, or try to, be a wrench in the Biden machine and really force some concessions. She didn't do that. She was a team player at the end of the day. There was an interview she did with Abby Phillips when Abby Phillips asked her, like, would you guys as a squad try to use your power in numbers, your power as a group, to force certain concessions, like on passing the Voting Rights Act? I think it was the George Lewis Voting Rights Act. And Cori said, no, we vote alone. As soon as they get into office, they feel comfortable. It's almost like that was the prize for them. The prize for a lot of these people is just to get in there and then work 100 days out of maybe 365, and you work very, very little. And you just that's kind of like your life, I don't think she was as much of a progressive fighter as we wish she could be. I could be wrong. Let me see. From the Ryan Left Trousers, anti-Arab too, with all that APAC money. Who are we talking about? Couldn't be Cori Bush. No, she didn't take APAC money. Was it Platt? No, I don't think Plattner took. He took J Street's calls. Let me know, RNLT. From the Traveler, these 180s that people do is why I stopped donating to them years ago. That money would have went further for mutual aid actions and back to school events. Yeah, same here. Same here. I think if a better candidate comes along, we're going to feel it, we're going to know. But none of these... AOC, you're never seeing my fucking $5. Not that you're asking. From RNLT, don't let Black Red Guard hear you say that about Comrade Bush. God, he's so funny. Some of these DSA people, I just appreciate for their comedic effect. Like, there's one guy, I don't even want to dignify who he is with his name. I think you can suss out who I'm talking about. But all he does is just log on and talk about how much he loves AOC. Like, truly, like, just how she's always right. AOC said woke one was crazy. This DSAer came out and said, actually, you know what? I moderated on policing too. Like, literally, just whatever the queen says, this loser is gonna say, actually, you're right. It's so sad. Never joining DSA, but I appreciate their contribution to the humor. We need humor. Humor is how we cope, how we resist. Guys, oh my God, there's so much of this left. Oh no. Okay, we can finish it tomorrow. But just warning you, there's more of this.
Student debt. When the consensus of all the student debt experts that I've talked to on my podcast, people from the Debt Collective, the Asher Taylors of the world, the legal experts I brought on, is that there was a path toward doing this, to canceling all student debt that would not have been stymied by the Supreme Court. The same authority that Donald Trump used to enact the student debt moratorium, which has been ongoing until beginning of this month for the last 3 years, was the same authority that he could have canceled all student debt with a stroke of a pen. He chose not to do that because he decided to means test the program. He circulated those documents. I got one in my inbox last August, I believe it was, to see if you qualify for student debt. It was a very easy form. But when he did that, that started the clock for people to be able to challenge it in court, which what 6 states did, 2 of them were successful, and now here we are today. Not only did he decline to do the unstoppable mechanism to actually cancel all student debt, he additionally chose to use a legal authority, which when many legal experts said was the most vulnerable one. So you're now saying,
No.
he could have used the Higher Education Act.
He did. He did.
He could have done that in the first instance.
But he didn't, and now we tried it again through the Higher Education Act. The idea that it's a conspiracy, he doesn't want to actually cancel it. No, he appealed the case like 4 or 5 times, and then at the end of it, when the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that, he said, fuck you, I can, and he did the Higher Education Act. That's exactly what we wanted him to do. Then he does it, and people go, oh, that's not good enough. And it's like, that's ridiculous.
There, Kyle.
So to Kyle here, the fact that Biden tried, at least if he tried to cancel student debts, that was good enough, even if he failed. And what Bree is trying to tell him is that, the way that the executive order was designed for the canceling student debt, if I remember this right, correct me if I'm wrong, but because the Biden administration chose to means test the $10,000 of forgiveness, that's what made it legally challengeable, and that's what ended up making it and what Bree is saying is that he did it on purpose. He sabotaged, and of course you can see how student loan servicers would try to put a wrench in that plan to begin with, but they want to at least put up a show to say, oh no, at least Biden tried. And to Kyle, all that matters is trying, not actually delivering. Hate that word, but trying. We don't give politicians points for trying. When you do that, you're just giving them an excuse to fuck you over, as long as they put up a good performance. That's ridiculous. You should not be analyzing politics if that's your standard, trying hard enough. No, I haven't heard a single voter saying, I just want Democrats to try, and then if they fail to pass a public option, that's fine, as long as they try. What are they, fucking children? Are they children? Are we giving up participation prizes to people, not to politicians now? Crystal and Kyle are trying to sell the Democratic Party to progressives and leftists. They're trying. Should they get a paycheck if they fail? I don't think so. I think that money should be returned, allegedly. To Reid Hoffman, allegedly.
What we wanted him to do was, first and foremost, just cancel the student debt.
I expected him to do nothing on student debt. This is the point I'm trying to get across to you, is that I expected nothing from Biden, and he did way more than I expected.
Let me make
He did more than I expected. You don't have student debt. You're too stupid to go to college. You don't have student debt. How dare you tell someone who does have student debt, who lives with that burden? How dare you? Rich man, baby. Tell that person, he tried. He tried, and that's good enough for me. Good enough for you? For you? You don't even have student debt. Who the fuck are you to tell someone with student debt that they should be happy that Biden did nothing for them? Fuck you, man, baby. Out of touch, out of wisdom, out of intelligence, rich man, baby.
It's
about
not
that.
about
Pivot
your
this
expectations.
conversation.
We have different
Of
expectations.
course, I'm going to talk about it through
let me
my
pivot,
expectations.
but-
I'm me.
But I want to pivot this
But we
conversation a little bit, because what we really have is a tactical disagreement. We could quibble about student loan debt. We
Yeah.
could quibble about all kinds of aspects of the Biden administration.
Liberals love to throw that in there. You and I, we have the same goals. If you're having a drink right now because to get through this, first of all, I understand. If you're smoking, no, I shouldn't say that. If you're drinking water, take a sip, because liberals love to say, I agree with you about all of your beautiful, lovely, rainbow-colored goals. I just disagree on the tactics. I disagree on the strategy. Okay, liberal. Okay. Let me read your comments. They're more fun than this. No offense, Ken. No offense, Karen. No offense, Ken. From the Ryan Left Trousers. Oh, sorry. Let me go up. From the Traveler. Defund the police was the moderate take, and I love that BJG is being vindicated on that stance. And she's right to. There's an entire gaslighting project to pretend like people actually love police, like leftists, progressives actually love the police now. All because they wanna, I guess, vindicate right-wing media fearmongers who have been, or maybe they just feel like, I don't know. Actually, I know what it is. They want to pretend like Zoran and AOC are just brilliant, the smartest, always, and you have to, whatever they say, they're queens, they're king and queen. They have to agree with no matter what, even if it's betraying voters on their own promises. At the expense of people who actually believed they were going to do something about the cruel and unjust police state that people are living under. And it's always white people who don't understand the impact of police brutality, rich white people, I should say, who don't really care, because the police to them is not a terrifying force that can end your life at any moment for no reason, just because on the whims and of a police officer. If you're not an immigrant, if you're not a person of color, if you're just as white as Ken and Karen over here, you'll never get it. You'll never get why people are asking to defund the police until you experience it yourself. And again, to someone as self-centered as Kyle Kulinski, he has to experience something himself for him to develop the empathy, because he can only care about what he sees in front of him. From the Ryan Left Trousers, I didn't notice until tonight, but I wonder if BJG chose to wear green here to invoke the Green Party. Oh my God, that could be a, yeah, a subversive choice. Do you think it's green? I feel like it's more, God, I'm gonna sound so gay. Isn't it more like ivory? No, wait, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know what the color of ivory is, but it is a shade of green. It is a shade of green. It's almost like she matched their wallpaper a little bit, their Taco Bell wallpaper. Sorry, I love the idea of just the three of them recording this at the corner of Taco Bell. Like, that's so fucking funny to me. Like, imagine there's if we heard every 3 minutes, like somebody calling out an order, or like, 2 cheese and bean burritos for ticket 180. Like, that's so funny. It really does look like the Taco Bell ambiance, the newer Taco Bells, if you've had your Taco Bell remodeled. From the Traveler here, and the people who sued the Biden administration, they argued in court that Biden didn't cancel enough student debt. No, but you see, to Kyle, as long as he read 3 headlines that said Biden tried, that's good enough. Doesn't matter if people actually still have the debt in their bank account. Trying is good enough. A+. That really shows you the class dynamic here, which I think does play into their calculus. Because how else, even if you're paid by the DNC, allegedly, how are you so out of touch to not think that to someone who expected that student debt to be canceled, not having it canceled is a betrayal? Like, how would you not see that it's not a win to your fucking... Even if you are, for some weird reason, obsessed with defending Democrats, how do you not understand it as a betrayal unless you've never had to worry about student debt, so it's not even something you can conceive of? You know what I mean? Although I think people who haven't had student debt, they can definitely conceive of and relate and understand how much of a burden it is to carry that around and for years on end, and to have your loans consolidated and moved from one company to another company, and then they're raising your interest rates, and like, it's such a nightmare. But Kyle doesn't even pretend to want to empathize with those people. No, Biden tried hard enough. From the right and left trousers, BJG really thinks she can stand up to Kyle's 47 points. Rookie mistake. Oh my God, did you really say 47 points? God, he's so annoying. No, but I printed 47 points, so when there's 47 points, like... Why aren't leftists talking about this? Why aren't people in the streets celebrating Genocide Joe? I know this was before the genocide, but there was nothing to celebrate even before the genocide. The genocide was just... took it to another level, the betrayals. Again, imagine being Palestinian American and having voted for Biden in 2020. Like, how that must feel. I can't stop thinking about Hani Al-Madoun, like, an American. Not that it matters, we're all people, but like a voter, right? Kyle should really think about what it's like to be Hani Al-Madoun and having voted for Biden, thinking he was going to deliver on all of these great things, and then losing 150 family members because of Biden. He really should, him and Karen should really think about what that must feel like to a voter, to a person. And that betrayal as a whole, because you have to put yourself in those shoes to begin to offer the DNC or whoever pays them, allegedly, how to get out of this. I don't think Democrats are getting out of this. I really think Zionism broke the Democratic Party, and people like Ken and Karen over here just will never understand it because they don't live in that reality. They live in a reality where trying hard enough is fine. From the Traveler here, Biden had promised a wider range of student debt, canceling all debt if you went to an Biden had promised a wider range of student debt, canceling all debt if you went to an HBCU. 100%, you're right. Thank you for that. And make $125,000 or less. Biden had a hella conservative platform, but people gaslit me, saying he was more progressive than FDR, probably when it came to racism. Oh my God. So many people said that too. Ro Khanna said that Biden was the new FDR. They really, you have to be so rich and out of touch and a history illiterate person like Ryan Grin
False. It's just false,
But
false,
no,
false,
it's not false.
to pretend like Biden was really meeting people's economic needs where they were, or that he was in some semblance, that he was making history in a good way. And that FDR talking point was so annoying, and I only saw rich people parroting it. Ro Khanna is extremely fucking rich. So when he says Biden is the new FDR, better than FDR, fuck it. It's like, who wrote that for you? And how much money are they making a year? From Fascism Watch here, the elephant in the room also, Clinton. He was there to support Biden, Kamala, and is still there enjoying full impunity. Oh my God, are you thinking of Bill? Ugh. I try not to think about Bill Clinton. I really try not to. Someone like James Carville, whose body should be donated to science to figure out how the hell he's still standing. From the Ryan Left Trousers. Even though even the wonderful Adolf Reed said Biden was the most progressive president since FDR, no, you're kidding me. He was on one there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, you're killing me. That's crazy. Maybe that's why we don't really hear about Adolf Reed anymore. Maybe he sort of like took the L and he's like, you know what? Let me just be quiet for a little bit. That's a crazy thing to say. That's a crazy thing to say. For someone that only increased police budgets, ICE budgets, didn't reform healthcare, only passed fucking Cobra subsidies. That's a crazy thing to say. That's a crazy thing to say. Thank you for that, RNLT. My God. Never trust an academic. Or maybe be skeptical. I mean, there are good ones. There are good ones. But my God, what a dumb thing to say.
And all of us would like him to do more. There's no doubt about that. But hold on a second. Our political aims are ultimately very similar. But I do think the student loan debt example is instructive because it shows what has been effective in terms of securing real gains versus what has been ineffective. Jill Stein running in 2016, I don't think she was a spoiler, but the Democratic Party thinks she was a spoiler. They put that out to the public. So in the theory of change where a third party would force all of this revolutionary change on the Democratic Party, that should have worked. But instead, it served to allow the Democratic Party to basically demonize and dismiss third-party efforts, and then they prop up Joe Biden. So that definitely didn't work. However,
I think that's a really interesting, confusing, and deceitful argument that Crystal was making here. So basically, she was saying leftists had a theory that if Democrats had competition from their left in the form of Jill Stein, who ran on forgiving student debt, and all of these things, the Democrats would be forced to sort of triangulate themselves a little bit to the left, a little bit to Jill Stein's side. But the Democratic Party, being immune to change or self-reflection or being decent at any point, at any time, instead they demonized Jill Stein and they moved to the right on healthcare, student loans, and all of these things. So that's Jill Stein's fault. No, what you just described, Crystal, is why the Democratic Party is never, ever going to learn any lesson because they have no incentive to. Because people like you are going to be out there making the case for Democrats, no matter how much they lose, no matter how much they betray people. You're making a case here that the Democratic Party is unreformable, but you're blaming it on Jill Stein. From the Traveler here, remember when CBP was on horseback whipping Haitian immigrants? I don't know how that didn't cause more people to not vote for Biden. 100%, I remember. It was evil. God, that was awful. That is awful. And the fact that Democrats still to this day will not abolish ICE, will not pretend to want to abolish ICE. And their only reforms to ICE are make them wear badges when they torture people. The Democratic Party is immune to change, and that's nobody's fault but Democrats.
Fact that Joe Biden had to be on a primary debate stage versus Bernie and Marianne and a whole lot of Elizabeth Warren, a whole lot of other people who were pushing him on student loan debt cancellation, forced him into a position of doing something when he 100% would have done nothing otherwise. And we can see.
No, that's not how it worked. That's not how it happened. Just because Biden committed to a platform of a $15 wage and a platform of a public option and a platform, that's not a legislative win. That's bullshit. Politicians speak for lip service. Bernie, Warren being for Medicare for all. I know Warren wasn't really for it, but walk with me here. Bernie didn't move Biden to the left on anything because Biden governed as a Republican. Funding ICE, funding police, refusing to pass the public option, passing fucking COBRA subsidies. This is how Bernie moved him left? No. And don't use the platform or what Biden committed to in his platform as a win. A platform is meaningless. It's bullshit. That's not progress in any way. Words are not progress. From the Traveler here. Third parties are good scapegoats for the DNC. Like, instead of blaming 308,000 registered Dem voters in Florida voting for Bush and Gore, losing his home state of Tennessee, no, blame it on Ralph Nader. Exactly. It doesn't even make sense. It's not even logical when they make up these excuses. It's just exactly as you say. It's an effective scapegoat to sort of discipline the left and keep them feeling guilt for not supporting Democrats hard enough, instead of making Democrats reflect and analyze and internalize their own failures. It's always deflect blame elsewhere. And this is not a dynamic that can be solved by voting for Democrats harder. They have no incentive to change. Also from the Traveler, and with 2016, when the cackling Secretary of State Clinton lost because she couldn't bother going to the states that she needed to win, she blamed everyone and barely blamed herself for being a woman in her book. Selfish people, they can't ever blame themselves. It's not in their nature. It's everybody else's fault but their own. It's funny because I'm like the opposite. I always like, just with the way I mean, it's a struggle, but like I blame myself for like things that happen to other people that are not my fault. You know what I mean? Like I'm like the opposite of Hillary in that sense, where like I always like interrogate, like, did I do this right? Is it my fault? Could I have done this differently? Even things that I really shouldn't be like judging myself over. I wish I had the confidence of war criminals, I guess. The cackling Secretary of State. Her laughter was really unnerving. It was like the Kamala laugh, but like even worse. There was something about it. From the Traveler here, Biden had more billionaires backing him than Trump. Oof. Ooh, I don't think that's gonna make Kyle's list here look good. Ooh, don't bring that up to Ken and Karen. Biden had more billionaires backing him than Trump. And Biden told his donors nothing would fundamentally change. And he didn't just tell them that, he knew it would go out to the press. This wasn't like a secret thing. He knew it would leak. he knew the public would hear it because he wanted to, I think, sort of subversively prepare the public for the fact that I'm not doing anything. Just like Cenk in yesterday's stream, when he said Schumer and Jeffries are admitting that they're not actually going to do anything if they hold leadership positions. They're not going to actually fight for anything, fight for anything. I think Biden sort of had the same idea. I'm not here to pass any good legislation. No. I'm here to pass Cobra subsidies and subsidies to oil companies. And on the messaging front, I want us to message it as if I passed just the largest climate bill in history. That's what I want. That's what I want to frame it as. It's all about the framing. It's all about the messaging. From the Ryan Left Trousers, Dems are the party of capitalism. Republicans are the loyal opposition. Oof. That's a hard pill for someone like Ryan Grimm to swallow.
False. It's just false,
But
false,
no,
false,
it's not false.
At the end of the day, they really are just, it's one Republican Party, Republican Capitalist Party, in two fonts. That's it. It's an illusion of choice.
That now because, the fact that they've basically blocked any sort of real democratic process within the Democratic primary has made it possible for him to literally promise nothing for this next term thus far. So you can see how the third party effort was not successful in bringing about whatever revolutionary change people want to see. And the process that Bernie engaged in and that Marianne Williamson is engaging in now was far more effective in actually delivering results. And that's what I'm focused on.
So
Results? What results? What results did Marianne Williamson running in a primary give any of us? What results did Bernie running in a primary give any of us? The only result Bernie running in a primary gave was $218 million raised that went right back into the DNC. $218 million that he mooched off of working class people who should have not sent that money to Bernie fucking Sanders and the Democratic Party. We got zero policy achievements under Biden. Zero. Sorry, Kyle. Sorry to your list. Sorry to your laptop. Sorry to the Taco Bell setting you're all sitting in. We got nothing except Cobra subsidies that nobody asked for. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you believe your own bullshit, Ken and Karen, you didn't convince anybody, any voter, that the Democratic Party deserved to win. With all of your reach, with all of your millions of subscribers, your hundreds of thousands of views, not a single vote was swayed because at the end of the day, you only speak to rich liberals like yourselves, and maybe some people who live overseas and are very well off, and they just need something to play in the background while they have sex or whatever they're doing, walking their dogs, cleaning. You're both useless. You're useless when it comes to actually persuading voters to vote for the Democratic Party. If that's what Reid Hoffman is paying you for, allegedly, it's money not well spent. So honestly, maybe I should be thankful that they're fleecing billionaires like Reid Hoffman, allegedly, and not actually delivering on the things they promised, like convincing well-meaning, regular working class voters that they should vote for Democrats. If that was your goal, if that was your deliverable or a promised thing that you tell billionaire Democrat donors, if that's the shtick, you're bad at it. You're bad at it, and you're persuading nobody except each other. From the Traveler here, I like how when it comes to fear mongering about accelerationism, People like to pretend Biden wasn't the accelerationist candidate, approving the Willow Project, handing out more oil drilling permits. Hello? And they had the audacity to call it a climate bill because it had tax credits for Teslas, when really it increased oil drilling. Even Ryan Graham said it was a huge achievement for the environment because we got tax credits for electric vehicles. The insult. Also from the Traveler here, designating socialists as domestic terrorists. Biden ran so Orange Man could sprint. They really did tag team each other, huh? And not in a fun way. From the Ryan Left Trousers, even just the fact of winning in 2020, when it was clear that Trump might well win in 2024, seems accelerationist to me. It's been long understood in military strategy, for example, that sometimes you have to lose battles to win wars. Why elections exist outside of space and time and this logic somehow doesn't apply baffles me. That's such a good point. That's such a good point. I think for the DNC bread tubers, if let's say they aren't paid by Reid Hoffman allegedly to try to sell us the Democratic Party being a political party that actually delivers for people, if that's not what's happening allegedly, then Ken and Karen here are being extremely short-sighted. It's only about the next election, the next midterms, the next candidate, the next Senate race, the next House race. It's never about the larger picture of how we came to this place of lose-lose, because both parties have tag-teamed the rest of us and driven us into the ground and competed over who can make life hell for people faster, essentially. They don't really think in terms of winning a long-term war, or even, and this is something Crystal isn't even pretending to try to do, which is, how do we make Democrats change? If that's your goal, if that's what you think should happen, you're not going to make them change by papering over their anti-accomplishments, all of their betrayals, putting a sticky smiley face on it, putting a bandage on a gunshot wound. You're not going to make the Democratic Party change for the better by lying about how much they delivered for people when they delivered nothing. If you're actually trying to help the Democratic Party change to the extent that it's even possible, I don't know that it is, you have to start with telling the truth. You have to tell the truth. And maybe when Democrats hear the truth, they start getting scared that, oh, we actually might lose voters. If people stop doing the Democratic Party's bidding, because for whatever reason, maybe then Democrats would have an incentive to actually meet voters where they are, instead of living in this fake reality where, no, Democrats did deliver for people. It's just that not enough people on the left are talking about it. Kyle, you're so fucking stupid. I can't believe that those words came out of your mouth. That no, Biden did deliver for people. It's just that people aren't aware of how good they have it. Unreal. I agree with you, RNLT. This from RNLT. This kind of crap is why Ben sorry. You should know that Ben Burgess has blocked me, neoliberal tears. I'm sure that's not surprising. I never think about Ben Burgess. That's the first thing that came to my mind when you brought up his name, and I wear it, and I'm trying to earn your respect, RNLT, and I believe that you should commend me for that. This kind of crap is why Ben Burgess's line of thought often drives me up a wall. And as Bree referenced here, Chomsky in his massively dickish way was making those same arguments to her. But the environment, I remember Chomsky tried to pretend he really cared about the environment. And as soon as Biden passes bills that increase oil drilling, where's Chomsky? Where's Chomsky? Oh, he's hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. He's busy. Don't talk to him. Chomsky is another one. You know how we said Palestine exposed everybody? Plattner exposed everybody. I think Chomsky also is a pretty useful dividing line. Anyone who still defends Chomsky to this day is a fucking idiot. Nathan Robinson, I'm looking at you. I don't think about you except when I'm trying to make myself laugh. You're a loser. You really are. There's another name sitting on my tongue, but I'm gonna hold it back. Guys, I'm getting better at this. Kime, you said it. Kime, you read my mind. Oh my god, guys, are we developing psychic connections? Oh my god, can you think of what number is in my head right now? I'm thinking it. Put it in the chat, guys. Put it in the chat. But all of you, I want to see if someone gets it right. Sorry, I'm not being serious. This is all for comedic effect. Let me read your comments. And the traveler here, I forgot to mention the Willow Project was separate from the Inflation Reduction Act with the oil drillings. Oh my god. Oh my god. So there was the Inflation Reduction Act that had more oil drillings, and then the Willow fucking Project which had extra oil drillings for all. Oil drillings for all. That's how much Bernie and Marianne fucking Williamson changed the Democratic Party as opposed to Jill Stein. The truth is that nobody changed the Democratic Party. You definitely did. You definitely didn't, Crystal. You definitely didn't. From Kime here, Parenti is definitely the hill I would die on. You know, I don't actually know enough about Michael Parenti. I should. I know. Are there any books you guys would recommend to sort of dive into it? Because I think there's the Parenti father, right? And I know that his dad was actually, wasn't he the one that broke with Bernie Sanders over, because Bernie supported bombing Yugoslavia, which of course he did. And then the Parenti dad sort of got disillusioned with Bernie and the Progressive Democratic Party as a whole as a result of that. I could be wrong, let me know. From the traveler here, you're thinking of the color red. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna work on our psychic, our intuitiveness. Actually, can I read what numbers you're thinking? Marianne, do you want to jump in here? This is your territory. This is the woo-woo nice stuff. Guys. Unfortunately, we have so much more of this to play. Oh my god. So I hope you'll join me back tomorrow. Who knew this would be a trilogy for all of us. Kyle, you're gonna love being back here. You love it. You love hearing feedback from me, Neoliberal Tears, I'm sure. You too, Karen. I know you guys love it. You guys never hear honest feedback from leftists, I don't think. Because you're in such a massive bubble. So you get to listen to it here. Isn't that exciting for you guys? Where else would you get this kind of analysis from real leftists? I shouldn't say real leftists. From leftists. You wouldn't get that from Ryan Grimm just like, patting you on the ass and telling you what a good job you're doing.
False. It's just false,
But
false,
no,
false,
it's not false.
We also have a clip of Ryan that I want to play tomorrow. Just a little tease. Ryan, because you've been such a faithful collaborator, co-presenter, co-host, I think we should do you the honors and actually play a clip that has a lot to do with you specifically. I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna enjoy it. From Kime here, a book recommendation for everybody: Black Shirts and Reds. That the title of the book is Black Shirts and Reds. That's the cornerstone. It will change your entire outlook, huge part of my radicalization. And yes, he is the guy that broke off from Bernie, but he's so much more than that. Thank you, Kime. I will check that out. I love book suggestions. I truly do. So thank you to all of you who do it. I'll read them all, I promise. I really will. From the Traveler here, Michael Parenti is the father, and yes, he broke away from Bernie over Yugoslavia and called out the fact that despite NAFTA and these other neoliberal policies, Bernie still supported the DNC. I have so much respect for people who called out Bernie's bullshit before 2020, before 2016 even. I have so much, like, those are the people that I'm actually like, you know, whose analysis I trust. I'm thinking of people like Dr. Steven Saleda. He was so early to sort of show and tell people that Bernie is a fucking fraud. But he had to deal with people like Abby Martin and the Gray Zone people being like, no, Bernie's amazing. Bernie's amazing. Why are you so mean to Bernie? Turns out he's right. He was right all along. So long, Marianne. Yes. Sorry. Good night, Marianne. Good night, Moon. Good night to all of us. Thank you for being here. Join me tomorrow, 9:30. Please don't forget me. It's so much fun here. Right, Ryan?
False. This is false, false, false,
it's not false.
Okay, well, the rest of us are having a lot of fun at your expense, Ryan, friend of the show. Thank you, The Traveler. Thank you, Kime. Thank you, Fascism Watch. Thank you, RNLT. I love your comments. Thank you for educating me. Thank you for making me learn every night. That's why I come back and do this, to be in your company, to be in your presence, to be in community with Ken, Karen, and friends. So I hope to see you tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern. Don't forget. You won't forget, right, Ryan?
False. This is false, false, false,
it's not false.
I can't get enough of you, Ryan. I can't get enough. From our NLT here. Thanks, NLT. Good night, all, except Ryan. That's right. Good night to all except Ryan Grimm. And as always, free Palestine from the river to the sea.